Jessie Blodgett. Seth Adams. Hartford, Connecticut. The name comes first, then the silence, a young woman stepping into a night that does not yet know it will end her. Jessie Blodgett, 18 years old, theater kid, bright laugh, trusted smile, walking toward what she thinks is a harmless meeting. The camera pulls back slowly, streetlights breathing fog, a phone buzzing with unanswered messages. Somewhere a decision is made. Somewhere a door closes. This story does not begin with blood. It begins with trust, and the awful ordinary calm before something breaks. Because the most terrifying crimes do not announce themselves, they whisper, and by the time you hear them, it is already too late. She loved performing, loved stories, loved believing people meant what they said. On that October night, she leaves her home telling her parents she will be back soon. A familiar promise, a casual goodbye. She walks into a car driven by someone she barely knows but thinks she understands. Seth Adams, a man from the theater scene, older, confident, seemingly harmless. The kind of person no one warns you about. Because warning signs are subtle, smiles linger a second too long, words feel rehearsed. But nothing feels dangerous yet. And that is what makes the next silence so loud. Jessie does not come home. Her phone stops responding. Friends refresh messages again and again. Parents pace, clocks seem to mock them. Midnight becomes morning. Hope thins. Panic grows teeth. Police are called, details spill out in fragments, last text, last plan, last face seen. Seth Adams. A name written down without emphasis, just another lead. Officers knock, ask, wait. Nothing happens quickly. Nothing ever does. And somewhere far from the searchlights, Jessie is already gone, though no one knows it yet.
Detectives retrace steps, theater connections, timelines sketched in pencil. Seth Adams says he dropped her off, says she was fine, says everything that sounds right. But his story shifts, small changes, like shadows moving when no one is watching. Phone records whisper contradictions. Cell towers remember what people forget. Each answer creates two new questions. Where did she really go? Why did the car stop moving? Why did his voice shake when he said her name? Suspicion grows quietly. Like mold behind walls, detectives retrace steps, theater connections, timelines sketched in pencil. Seth Adams says he dropped her off, says she was fine, says everything that sounds right. But his story shifts, small changes, like shadows moving when no one is watching. Phone records whisper contradictions. Cell towers remember what people forget. Each answer creates two new questions. Where did she really go? Why did the car stop moving? Why did his voice shake when he said her name? Suspicion grows quietly, like mold behind walls. Jessie Blodgett is found in a wooded area, abandoned, hidden, silenced forever. The air changes when the news comes. A collective breath held, then shattered. Parents collapse, friends scream, officers go quiet. The crime scene speaks in fragments, bindings, evidence of planning, of control, of intent. This was not chaos, it was deliberate. And that realization makes it colder. Because monsters who plan are harder to see, harder to stop. This time the room feels smaller. The questions sharper. The pauses longer. He avoids eye contact, hands tremble. Sweat beads. Stories unravel under pressure. Digital evidence corners him, movements mapped, lies exposed. Finally the words fall out, a confession delivered without poetry, without remorse. He says he wanted control, says he felt rejected, says things that strip humanity from the room. But even confession does not bring relief. Because knowing how does not explain why. Why did no one see the warning signs? Why was trust so easily weaponized? How many others brushed past danger without knowing? Investigators revisit old notes, timelines again, noticing details once ignored. The slow grooming, the fixation, the online searches. The case deepens instead of ending. Because understanding evil is never simple. And simple answers do not keep people safe. Photos, videos, performances frozen in time. Her voice still sings online, still smiles, still lives in pixels. Strangers discover her after death. Comment sections fill with grief from people who never met her. A life reduced to a cautionary tale. And that transformation feels like another theft. The internet remembers everything, except how to protect the vulnerable. They admit the case haunts them. Not because it was unsolved, but because it was preventable. Seth Adams was not invisible. He was known, tolerated, excused. Small behaviors dismissed as awkward, intense, odd. Patterns only become obvious after damage is done. That is the cruel math of violence. Hindsight always arrives too late. A reported sighting miles away, a tip that went nowhere, a witness who misremembered time. Each delay cost emotional energy, drained hope, stretched agony. These missteps are rarely shown on documentaries. But they matter. Because families live inside those hours, wondering, bargaining, breaking, a reported sighting miles away, a tip that went nowhere. A witness who misremembered time. Each delay cost emotional energy, drained hope, stretched agony. These missteps are rarely shown on documentaries. But they matter. Because families live inside those hours, wondering, bargaining, breaking, the silence of the woods, of unanswered texts, of friends who wish they had spoken up. Silence shields predators. Silence grows heavier the longer it is carried. And Jessie's absence makes noise in every room she once filled. Her empty chair louder than any scream. It circulates in training seminars, victim advocacy groups, theater communities. A warning wrapped in tragedy. Trust must be earned slowly, boundaries respected fiercely. Intuition believed. Jessie becomes a lesson she never agreed to teach. They refuse to let her be remembered only by her death. They show childhood photos, tell stories of joy, insist on her full humanity. This is resistance, against reduction, against forgetting. Love is defiance, time stretches endlessly. The world moves without him. But his name remains tethered to hers. A permanent stain. No apology can untie it. No sentence can rebalance the scale. Some damage is final, listening again, noticing something unsettling. His words center himself, his feelings, his frustrations. Jessie appears only as an object, a means. This psychological void reframes everything. The crime was not passion, it was entitlement. And that realization chills deeper than violence, it is hidden in plain sight. Jessie trusted because she was taught to be kind, to be polite, to not offend. The system rewarded that, until it killed her. The real accomplice was a culture that minimizes discomfort over safety. That is the truth that stings, with Jessie Blodgett, a name spoken slowly, deliberately. Not as a victim, but as a person whose life exposed a dangerous lie. That monsters do not look like monsters. They look like people we excuse. And that may be the most terrifying ending of